Paul, you're muted.
Now I was muted. Hi, all. Thank you so much for your patience. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Alexander Paul Zotov, and I'm the Public Art Registrar within the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. In this capacity, I'm also Administrator of the Boston Art Commission. Let's just take a moment to update our names and pronouns, as well as make sure that we're all muted. In accordance with the Commonwealth Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting virtually. As a reminder, this has been extended until 2026. To ensure public access to the deliberations of the Boston Art Commission, the public may join this meeting through telephone and video conferencing. For those of you with us today, this meeting is being recorded and closed captioning is available, which you may access at the bottom of your screen. If you're having trouble locating the button, please chat us for assistance.
Thanks, Paul. The Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture and the Boston Art Commission believe that public art is any artwork installed in publicly accessible spaces where they can be experienced by everyone for free. For transparency and community input, artworks proposed for City of Boston property are reviewed and discussed at public meetings of the Art Commission on a regular and usually monthly basis. Working together with the public art team and the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, the BAC is an independent board composed of 2 ex officio and 7 volunteer community members appointed by the mayor. The BAC has exclusive authority to approve and commission artworks intended to be added or to the city collection or placed on city property. And as you all know, our wonderful commissioners, we've been struggling to make quorum, but we are really excited that we are actually growing in number today. And we're very happy to welcome our new commissioner, Kenny Mascari, with us for his first meeting. As the interim chief of arts and culture, Kenny oversees the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture and serves in the mayor's cabinet.
Hello.
Hey, Kenny. Kenny has attended many an art commission meeting in various forms, so it'll be great to have someone who has worked on presenting to the art commission actually be able to review projects. And we're really excited to be able to make it a little bit easier for us to serve and to meet our quorums. And we'd also like to introduce Dean Rollins Harris, the newest member of the public art team. As a Boston Area Program Manager, Dean will be responsible for overseeing MOAC's Artist in Residence program and designing programming to support artists throughout their residencies. The AIR program will continue to be reimagined under their leadership and as it returns from its 2-year hiatus.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Dean. Thank you. Our team facilitates the Art Commission public meetings, manages all phases, daily operations, and duties related to public art projects cited on or proposed for City of Boston property in collaboration with the Art Commission, community members, and colleagues at the City of Boston. You can email us at bac@boston.gov, and we'll add that to the chat. You can see our growing team in these profiles and also consultants that we work with to fulfill the vision of the Art Commission. And with that, I will pass to Chair Andres.
Thanks, Karen, and welcome everyone. I call this public hearing to order at 4:37 p.m. Today, the Commission is holding its monthly public meeting. Though today is a Monday, our meetings are generally held on the second Tuesday of every month. We engage in discussions about public art in Boston in order to foster the creation and collection of artworks that reflect the people, ideas, histories, and futures of Boston, which is located on the traditional homeland of the Massachusetts people and the neighboring Wampanoag and Nipmuc peoples. We acknowledge the atrocities committed against Indigenous peoples, all of the communities that have been subsequently harmed, and the ways in which colonialism has created systemic oppression. We recognize the continuing presence of these communities and the Indigenous peoples represented in the city's residents, in addition to those in the diaspora. We also recognize that Boston exists as a result of the forced labor and economic extraction from enslaved African Americans. I'll now take roll call of commissioners to confirm a quorum. After I state your name, Commissioner, please say here. I begin with Vice Chair James Mason.
Here.
Brian Hone.
Here.
Diana Fernandez-Bibeau.
Here.
Abigail Norman.
Here.
Kenny Mascari.
Here.
And I'm here as well. So we have a quorum. Thanks, commissioners. On this slide, you'll see today's agenda, which is also posted publicly on the city's website, boston.gov. Now we'll review meeting minutes from the August meeting. Commissioners, are there any comments or modifications you'd like to make to the minutes? With that, would any commissioner like to make a motion to accept the August meeting minutes?
I make a motion to accept.
Kenny, was that you? Great.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Brian. After I say your name, commissioners, please say yes if you agree. James,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Kenny.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. The motion passes. Now I'll pass to Karen Goodfellow, who will highlight the presentations for public review and give her director's report.
Thank you, John. Thanks all. As you can see, we have a busy agenda again this afternoon, and I'd like to remind proponents to keep their presentations to between 5 to 7 minutes. We may need to remind you to keep it within that time so that everyone will get to present today. You can see we have some amazing murals coming in. We have our colorful piece, which is a long-term piece as part of Canvas of Culture, here for final design. This is at the Sarah Roberts Washington Irving School in Roslindale. The artist, forgive me for mispronunciation here, Layqa, Nuna, Yawar. The proponent is Street Theory with the City of Boston. And next we have The Path is Made by Walking, Siaso Camino al Andar, another long-term project with Canvas of Culture, here for final design, also for the Sarah Roberts in Roslindale. The artist is David Zayas, and again with Street Theory for the City of Boston. And lastly, we have a long-term mural Beyond the Horizon at the William E. Carter School in Roxbury by Massiel Grullon. And that is going to be presented by Paul Zota, because that one is here for Accessioning, because we are very excited to propose it to you to join our collection. We have Journey of Light, a 1975 memory field by Ngoc-Trân, and this is a temporary work that is part of Unmonument, and that is here for final design for Townfield Park in Dorchester. I will put it forward, and Tran, I hope, will present. We have Color Flows on Winter Street, which is a temporary street mural. We have Massiel Grullon again presenting. We're very happy to have her work here twice. And the planning department will be putting that one forward. Breeze Outlaw is here to present that project to us. And following that, we'll put forward an idea to you from us as staff. We're trying to think of ways to streamline our processes. So I wanted to put forward our interest in having some projects like Color Floats and some others happen through staff review and then come to you, but we'll speak more about that shortly. And then we also have some presentations that don't require review because they're not on city property, but we do want to share. We have Breathe Life Epiphany, that is at the Epiphany School in Dorchester by Rob Problack Gibbs as part of Unmonument. We have Plantable, which is another wonderful Unmonument project. We have Lani Asuncion, the curator, for this project by the artist Ecosistema Urbano, for a project by Powell Arts Center, but sited on the Rose Kennedy Greenway. And then we have some informational review projects also for the Greenway. And those will be put forward by Audrey Lopez.
And Karen, if I can interject, commissioners, there's not a vote on these projects, but we are presenting them for review.
Yes, thank you. And then sort of updates that we have, DeWitt Playground at Madison Park has been installed, and we will have finishing touches and park maintenance at the basketball courts done in coming weeks. This is the project with Marlon Forrester, the Embrace Studio Loose, the play team. The completed project will be presented to the Art Commission for Accessioning in October, and we are now in process of scheduling a ribbon cutting later this fall, hopefully later this month or early next month. Emergent Memory, Coconut Grove Memorial will begin site work this fall at Statler Park, and the memorial sculpture is in fabrication with plans to complete the sculpture installation in the park during spring 2026. Amulet, which you can see on the screen by Ria Vedro, is scheduled for installation at City Hall Plaza in mid-October. This is the inaugural City Hall Plaza sculpture program work to be located near the Hanover Street entrance opposite the playground at City Hall. We have 2 Canvas of Culture Carter School murals scheduled to be installed in the fall. Yawar's Garden Energy by Cyril Conan and Full Bloom by Georgina Kima. The artists and Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture project managers have been working closely with the facilities project team to prepare the painting surfaces to ensure longevity and maintainability of the murals. And both of those projects are being managed by Street Theory. Canvas of Culture artist Sabrina Dorsenville, shown here, completing installation of their mural, Together We Care and Create, at the Beethoven Elementary School in West Roxbury. Sabrina is going to be sharing the completed mural with the Art Commission for accessioning next month. Destiny Palmer's vinyl mural, Colors Meant to Hold Us, has been installed at the Vine Street BSOIF, and final touches are being completed. We're excited to get this long-awaited project to the Vine Street staff and community members, especially the seniors who frequent the nearby lounge. Project manager Amber Torres was on site with Destiny Palmer to review the installation and will share the completed project for the BAC later this fall. We have some updates on Monument, Ways of My Ancestors, Lighting the Path to Awareness by Scott Foster at Quincy Market. Last week, in conversation with the artist, Faneuil Hall Marketplace, BRA Real Estate Team, BRM Production Management, and Graffito, the consultant to the lessee of the building, will be expanding the project Ways of My Ancestors from just the west end of Quincy Market to also include the east end. This expansion will allow the artist to showcase between 6 and 10 photographs, and we are working with Landmark staff to finalize the review. In addition, Scott's artwork will be in conversation with one of Boston Public Art Triennial's artworks, Material Monument to Thomas Morton, Playing Indian by New Red Order, including Adam Khalil, Zach Khalil, and Jackson Polis at the Marketplace Center. We're really excited for this expansion. You'll also see some events listed that are coming up for on Monument. We hope you will join us for Constitutional Crossroads. Is the Constitution broken? Maybe we can drop the invitation to that into the chat. That's happening this Wednesday at 5:15. We also have events for Daphne Shu's project, Boston Busing in Chinatown, 50 years later, happening September 13th. Our Names public activation with Audrey Watkins, in which Audrey will ask us to imagine other names that could be added to the library in Copley Square. And public conversations continue with Finding Ourselves in Public Spaces, walking tour, featuring next Roxbury Rhapsody by Napoleon Jones Henderson at the Bowling Building. And we'll also have the Journey of Light opening event happening September 28th at 6 p.m. I also want to share an update that we have reached the midpoint of our ingenious consultancy with our office. As she works to complete a report with recommendations, we'll share them publicly at either the October or November Art Commission meeting. Supporting regional tribal artists means acknowledging how settler colonial dispossession of tribal communities has created longstanding inequities that have impacted artists' capacity and access to resources within and around the city of Boston. We must honor the self-determination and contributions of regional indigenous tribes and peoples, create processes within MOAC that are aligned with tribal practices, support recognized Native American peoples, tribes, and artists, federal, state, and community recognized, and foster community building and technical support for Native American and Indigenous artists. We recognize that past public art and monuments have contributed to circumstances that are harmful for Native American and Indigenous peoples. We are working to create a critical framework for ending cultural appropriation of Indigenous peoples' cultural properties and imagery, fetishization and stereotyping, and celebration of settler colonialism within public space. Erin's work is still very much in process, but she has been supporting our team by working very closely with us on Monument and navigating challenging conversations with active and proposed projects. Erin is also with us at the meeting today.
Hello. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and to be at the midway point of my consultancy. And I think just to say a few words about it, that my work has so far revealed just how deeply our systems rely on cultural appropriation, stereotyping, and misinformation, which casts Indigenous people as playing a specific set of roles within the settler colonial imagination that continues to perpetuate and contributes to our dehumanization, making it easier to dispossess us. So it's all connected. And it's all related. And the messages that we're putting out in public art directly impact our communities through public opinion, through policy. So I'm just really honored to be part of this process that names and seeks to change these systems. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you, Erin. We also wanted to give an update on the temporary loan of Emancipation Group to the exhibition monuments at LA MoCA as proposed by Lax Arts, now known as The Brick, and the Geffen Contemporary Art at MoCA, which was approved on May 10th, 2022. They have rescinded their request after we asked for free admission for Massachusetts residents. They had additional concerns around production and budget constraints, and they were also unable to accommodate monuments from Georgia and Pittsburgh, the municipalities there. So we did want to share that update that that loan will no longer be moving forward. Bloomberg Connects, Public Art Registrar Paul Zotov continues to interview artists and people for Bloomberg Connects app as another way to uplift the municipality multiplicity of perspectives, stories, and approaches that inform our city's public art collection. And here you can see an image from one of the interviews that she led. And I will pass it over back to James.
Thank you, Karen. Our goal is to make this meeting a good experience for all. Please remember to keep your comments on topic, brief, and respectful of others. I lost my place. Brief and respectful of others. You can submit longer written testimony to bac@boston.gov. If you are called on, please state your name, title, program, and organization if relevant.
Our first project for discussion is our colorful piece at the Washington Irving School. Liza, I pass this off to you.
Good afternoon, commissioners and everyone here today. As you may recall, the projects at the Sarah Roberts School were first presented to the commission this past May during the artist selection process. This site will ultimately host 6 projects, and tonight we are bringing forward four of the projects for final design approval. We're excited to present 2 artists tonight who have developed designs for the main lobby and the interior main lobby and the exterior staircase wall, which is Layqa, Nuna, Yawar, as well as David Zayas, who has created the mural designs for the exterior courtyard walls. Over the summer, both artists collaborated with students and staff from the Sumner and Philbrick schools, now newly merged into the reconfigured Sarah Roberts School, which is newly named and formerly the Washington Irving School. And now I will pass it over to Layqa, who will present his pieces for our colorful piece.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well? Wonderful. And I see that we have a presentation here. So I tend to be long-winded, so I have a ton of slides that I'm hoping we can go through here. But I want to thank everyone for being here, for inviting me. My name is Layqa Nuna Yawar, and I'm an immigrant from Ecuador. I live and love in the city of Newark, and I'm happy to bring this community engaged process of mural making that I've been practicing for the last 15 years to your city and explain a little bit about what went into it and how I made this design. So the title, Our Colorful Piece, comes from the work done with students. There's a little bit about me, some beauty shots in the studio. We can go into the next one. You can read about, I'm not sure if you have access to my bio, but you can read about it later. So my approach to this was to be collaborative in nature, to find the meaning and the content of the mural within the context that the murals are going to exist in. So what I do is work with communities on site to come up with verbal ideas, visual ideas, narratives, histories, memories, and then take these elements and collage them into new ideas that we work on collectively or agree on to then make murals. That's it in a nutshell. We can go on to the next one, please. These are some images of the work I was able to do at the schools, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience to spend some time with the students. As you can see here, we brainstormed different words, different contexts. We uh, played out scenes of poses that could be part of this mural. And my main question was to ask the students what and how they saw the future of their city and the future of their community. And so in some of the work that I received, one of the students wrote "Our Colorful Piece" as the title of their mural, of their artwork. So I decided to title the mural "Our Colorful Piece." And here are more examples of that. And you'll see on the right side some of those titles, and there's our colorful piece. So that was part of the social engagement. You know, we spent the last few months working on this. I was able to come in and gather all of this local knowledge to add to my own research. So a lot of this research comes from online sources, local sources, archival images that are all in the a common public domain, so I'm able to use them as a starting point for my design. And we go to the next slide. I have a large amount of sources that I'm pulling from. So you can go through all of these, but they're all related to the context of Sarah Roberts. For example, we have an image of Charles Sumner that is part of the background. We have images of local newspapers. We have the first public school. We have a mayor visiting one of the public classrooms. All of these are tiny vignettes that add up to a larger narrative. And so what I've pulled is parts of different histories and moments of contemporary life and put them into these designs. And of course, I listed all of them here for you to check out, and I'm just going to go through them very quickly here. So if we go to the next slide, we can start seeing the designs. So this is the entry lobby wall. And so for this piece, I centered the design on a quote by Harriet Tubman, which was actually part of the original mural in the backyard. So I'm seeing this new mural as an update or an upgrade to that idea. So the whole quote is, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer." And it continues saying, "Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach the stars, to change the world." Harriet Tubman. So this being the entrance is just the beginning of the quote. And when you leave the building, you'll read the rest of it. And so to me, these two pieces are a welcome and see you later. This is the staircase piece. You see it continues the narrative. And if we go to the next slide, please, you'll see that there's a little bit of the student artwork in this piece as well, because I decided to also involve them not only in the brainstorming and the sort of ideation of the project, but also taking their drawings and adapting them to a new version. So these are some of the drawings of the students. And in a nutshell, this piece, to me, centers the idea of imagination and dreaming and knowledge searching that comes from art making. The image itself clearly shows the city, students, this idea of envisioning the future. And I thought that would be an interesting way of reminding students to go home and study. And there's a lot more in that, but I just want to keep it brief. I see that I've passed the 5-minute mark. So just as a closing statement, I hope that you all have enough of the information here. Oh, it's always interesting to have an artist explain their work, but I know that it will not be finished until I'm actually done with the mural and until the students receive it and until it becomes part of the community. So for now, if you accept this design, then I'll continue to do that. The rest of the slides are just about the installation itself, which is very technical. And at the end of it, there's also maintenance guide. But yeah, I think we can probably go through this a little bit more. It's the installation, some other processes that I've used, and then the maintenance, and then that's the end of the presentation. So thank you for your time. I hope that was helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks so much, Layqa. It was so great to hear about this piece and the work that you've been doing at the school. Now I'll open it up to any commissioner comments. But before I do that, Layqa, we do like to hear a little bit about the materials that you use and the potential maintenance plan. So if you could just talk briefly about what kinds of
Sure.
paint you'll be using and if you have a history of working with those and how well they withstand elements throughout the years, and
Sure.
then if you expect any maintenance,
So
what that
we can
process might be like.
Thank you. We can stop here at this slide. So for the interior lobby piece, we talked about using polytab, which is a polyester fabric. It's a method that's I'm downtown Newark. That was really loud. But it's a method that I've used a lot with Philadelphia mural arts and in my own practice. Basically, it means that you're printing onto fabric and then you're painting on top of that printed piece. You then grab all of this basically squares and install them on site with industrial acrylic grade glue. So what happens when you make this sort of cake of acrylic, the support system, the acrylic, the polytab, which is polyester, the paint, and then acrylic on top, so that you have this very robust plastic seal. That process maintains very, very well. I have a project at the Newark Airport that is basically graded to last 100 years. So I'm very confident with that and I have a lot of experience with that process. The outside mural, it's going to be very traditional as far as mural making. So if that one's going to consist of a well-primed wall and high-grade paint materials from Golden or Nova paint. And one is New York based, one is California based. They make the best outside exterior mural paints that I've ever used, and I love their gamma of colors. And as long as we do that well and we cover it with an exterior varnish and there is no actual water seepage behind the painting, then that mural should last another 60 years. The maintenance for both, since we're gonna have them varnish, will be very easy. You can clean it with basically water or those like really interesting Mr. Clean like erasers or
The
anything else.
magic eraser.
That's a little trick. Those are really good for cleaning murals. So other than that, yeah, they will be easy to maintain. And for me, murals, the biggest enemy of murals is this direct sunlight and water damage. So I don't foresee any of that happening in this project. Yeah, was that
That's
enough? Do you
perfect.
have any
Thank you
questions?
so much. Yeah.
Thank you so
And
much.
now I open it up to any other commissioners who may have questions.
I don't think I have any. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Diana.
Brian. I just wanted to make a quick comment. I really appreciated the community process you took to get to this point, and seeing some of the students' work reflected in the mural. It's just like really inspiring, and I'm sure the students are going to be really excited to see themselves in the artwork. So really want to applaud that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Brian, did you have a
Layqa,
question?
similarly, yeah, no question, but just a comment. Layqa, just excited to see this process. I think maybe a new process that we've not seen for a mural installation, at least recently for me, come before the Boston Art Commission. So that's exciting, and just really like the quality of the image. They're really painterly, and excited to see these installed. So thank you for your presentation.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Any other commissioners?
Just quickly, I appreciate how you layered history into the beautification and the artwork. So I like how complex but layered each piece seems and the intentionality with it as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the goal, you know, attract with beauty and then some teachable moments will come out.
It's not a bad philosophy.
Yeah. And just to clarify, I wanted to say that for the polytab process, parts of the image will be printed and then the rest will be hand painted. So it's like a mixture of both. So it's not just a printout, but I'm also painting on it.
Thanks for clarifying.
No problem.
Now I'd like to open it up to any members of the public who may have a question or comment. I can't always see hands, so if someone raises their hand, please alert me. I don't think we have any public comment today. Commissioners, would anyone like to make a motion to approve Layqa's final design?
I'll make a motion to approve the final design for our colorful piece at the, says on the slide Washington Irving, but I believe it's actually the Sarah Roberts School.
Thanks, Abigail. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Thanks, James. Commissioners, after I say your name, please say yes if you agree with the motion. James?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
Diana?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Thanks so much, Layqa, and congratulations. Really excited to see this come to fruition.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. And I'm excited as well.
Our next project for discussion is The Path is Made for Walking, or Se hace camino al andar. And I will pass that on to Liza.
Thank you, James. Before I move forward with this next proposal, Paul, do you mind going back to the site map? There was a piece there that I missed, just for context here, quickly. Great, thank you so much. So just for context, I wanted to remind you all of the scope and impact of the amount of artwork we're placing in this school, which we're really excited about. As I mentioned, we have 6 projects that are going in, 2 of which you've already approved, another 2 that we'll look at now. And I just wanted to bring to your attention the placement of these works here. So at A and B, you'll see Layqa's work, and then up for conversation now is artwork C, our artwork C and D, which will sort of bookend the courtyard here. Thank you so much for scooting back, Paul. And without further ado, I am happy to also present the other 2 works for final design today, which will be presented by David Zayas and his team, entitled The Path is Made by Walking, Se hace camino al andar.
Thank you, Liza. Hi to everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is David Zayas. I am muralist from Puerto Rico with ties to Boston. So I'm happy to share my mural design of the Sarah Roberts School. We have 2 walls today. The path is made by walking and se hace camino al andar. Sorry, before we get started, English is my second language, and I have translator here for any question. So let's get started. Slide, please. Yeah. Okay. To begin, sorry, Paul. You was okay? Is the before the slide before, please? So I'm so sorry. Yeah, thank you so much. So to begin, the courtyard is beautiful. No, you was okay. Is the second slide? Sorry, Paul.
Is this the right slide?
Before that,
This one?
this one, yes. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
No,
So,
that is for.
yeah. So, okay, the courtyard is beautiful, and it's my goal to add to this environment. The Sarah Rover also represent the merging of two local schools, Sumner and Philbrick. So I hope to celebrate the community of Rosendale that all students share. Sarah Rover also offer multilingual program in English and Spanish, which is close to my heart. Slide, please. Yeah, of course. I want to honor Sarah Roberts. For context, in 1848, Sarah was the center of important legal case. She was 5 years old. Robert was refused to equal right to attend the public school or her choice, and was forced to walk past 5 schools to the Black-only school. This journey became Sarah's long walk. Her case set the national stage for the equal schools movement and desegregation of public schools in Massachusetts in 1855. The mural design reimagined and modernized the journey of Sarah Roberts. Slide, please. So yeah, here, the direction of the design emerged from conversation with 5th grade students. Together, we create a cultural wheel to better understand their interests and backgrounds. It was a great group. I also received 2 rounds of feedback from the Sarah Roberts Schools Committee, and I'm grateful for their suggestions. Next slide, please. Yeah, so all this feedback came together in a design across 2 walls of the Sarah Roberts schools. The first is titled, "The Path is Made by Walking." Slide, please. So here we have a girl walking with purpose and play. The mirror faces a basketball court, and the ball in her hands symbolizes teamwork. She also carries a full bag of flowers. These flowers represent our qualities and talents, and the petal we leave on the way. On the back is a message in English. We believe in myself, a mantra of self-confidence that is planted in childhood. The detail of her sneaker empowered her identity, the word Rosendale and the spaceship. Through this symbolic intervention, walking became a way of cultural affirmation and aspiration. Slide, please. So yeah, in the background of the mural is a universe of stars and planets. The cosmic landscape reminding us every child dreams are infinity. So yeah, thank you. I'm done with this one, and then next slide, please. So the design is addictive and extends to a second word across the courtyard titled "Se hace camino al andar," which is a Spanish translation of the first word. and reference a poem of Antonio Machado, reminding us there is no road, the path is made by walking. Slide, please. So here, the same character appears in two moments. On the left, she ties her sneaker and looks to the sky, revealing her face for the only time. A slide, please. On the right, the girls continue her walk. The bag appears again, in this time with a message in Spanish, Yo creo en mí, a translation of I believe in myself. So this is my design I want to share today. And now I want to talk about the logistics. So a slide, please. For the material, I am a brush painter and I often use bare stereo paint. It's a highly durable and has long-lasting coverage. To access the wall, I plan to use one scissor and one boom leaf. Slide, please. To maintain the mural, I would like to recommend a schedule to check on the art at least twice per year and conduct any cleaning of the wall as needed. And I have included recommended steps, and I will provide a full strategy upon your mural completion. Next slide, please. So in closing, this mural is a love letter to childhood, diversity, action, history, and believing in yourself. I hope you enjoy it. The final slide, please. So yeah, that's all. I have to special thank to Liza for her work, to Catherine Santiago for the attention, and the teacher of Rosendale, and all the commissioners having me today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioners, does anyone have a comment or a question?
I'd like to make a comment. So years ago, I worked on a school partnership program at the Irving, and it was a very dark and gloomy school building. And I'm really inspired to see these beautiful murals inside of a rethinking of that school with its new name. So I'd like to really commend the two muralists. And Liza, I'd really like to commend you for the way that the two sets of murals speak to each other and just the beauty that they will bring to a school that used to be pretty gloomy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Abigail. Are there any other commissioners who wish to make a comment or have a question?
Yes, quick comment. Initially I was gonna say, ooh, Nike, but once you zoomed in, there was no direct correlation outside of if you know, you know, for the air bubble. But I think there was a distinction by tying the young person's identity to their sneaker, the way that a lot of young people do have an identity related to, or at least that's one of the first instances of trying to express your own identity is through clothing. So at first I had a eye for the corporatization of the image, but that was surprisingly met by actually tying it to the young person's identity, from where they're from, and you know, the what they aspire to engage in. So shout out to you for that very subtle but powerful subtle change there.
Yeah, well, thank you. For me, it's very important connect with the community. Every time that is my goal. I think the engagement with the student help a lot with that. For me, it was necessary and helpful, with my inspiration on that design. Thank you so much.
David, thank you so much. I actually opened this question up to other commissioners. Abigail, like you, I'm so excited to see these really exciting and colorful designs at the school. Given that both murals only have one child's face in them, I found the blue line slightly distracting for myself. I'm curious if anyone else felt that way, or if just in the context of these sort of swirling, the swirling astronomy of the project, if anyone else found it distracting or not.
Yeah, go back to that slide for explain. Give me a moment. I wanna translate this quickly. Sorry, thank you. Great.
I will say, John, kind of at first glance, that was maybe something that kind of stood out to me too for the figure on the right. There's something about it to me that almost makes it a little more I don't know, like aspirational feeling, or like a little less focused on like the individual kind of representation of the child, themselves, and a little bit more kind of expressive in a way. So I don't just kind of focus on like, the likeness of the child, but really kind of think of it as like a full composition, with the image on the right and then the image on the left together, that kind of swirling motif connects the two in a way. So I see where you're coming from. I wouldn't flag it as a big concern for me, but I can see that.
And I just want to add to that because there are many more swirls in that image, the swirl on her face, we can still detect the features underneath it, versus when you see the swirl on the leg, it's completely missing. So if it was the opposite, I might have a concern with the face not being there. So it doesn't bother me as much.
Thanks.
With that said, does any other commissioner wish to make a comment or have a question at this time? Very well. We will open it up to the general public. Does anyone have any comments or questions they wish to ask or make at this time? And I too can't see hands. But I can hear the silence. So I'm guessing that there aren't any comments in the public. And so I wonder if any of the commissioners wish to make a motion to accept this final design.
I can make a motion to accept final design for the murals titled "The Path is Made for Walking" by artist David Zayas.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you. And now we can move to voting. When I call your name, say yay or nay or yes or no. John,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Abigail.
Yes.
I too am a yes, and so the motion carries. Congratulations on this acceptance of the final design.
Thank you so much. That's very excited. I'm so happy for that. Thank you.
Our next project for discussion is actually accessioning beyond the horizon at the William E. Carter School. And Paul, I pass this off to you.
Kyle, I'm sorry. I seem to have been attacked by a flying moth that flew right in as I was about to speak. Hello. Hi all. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon to welcome the most recent mural to our city's public art collection. This canvas of culture mural is sited at the Carter School, which is a new and updated facility that will include a therapeutic pool, sensory garden, rooftop classroom, and better spaces designed specifically for students with disabilities and complex learning needs. For this call, we had been looking for artists who had interest and experience in crafting 2D public art projects that were research informed, as well as tailored to the unique sensory needs of the students, the school's student population and community. So for that, we landed with Beyond the Horizon by Massiel. Beyond the Horizon is installed in a high traffic hallway where the mural is designed to guide movement through the space by using soft curves, layered forms, smooth color transition. Its composition creates a calming yet engaging environment and offering a visual rhythm that supports sensory regulation and encourages a sense of flow as students, staff, and visitors move through. Here are a couple more images of it. The color palette is sensory friendly and visually soothing with moments of contrast to maintain engagement, and the shapes are inspired by the rhythm and the feeling of forward motion. This opportunity resonated deeply with Massiel because of the connection she has with the neighborhood hits home. The South End on Mass Ave holds a special place in her heart as it's where she was born and raised. In particular, the brown brick building of her childhood home is visible from this north exterior wall. And here's just an overview of the materials that were used. Yeah. With that being said, we look very, very forward to having this in our collection.
Thanks so much, Paul. And of course, thank you to Massiel. Such a beautiful piece. Commissioners, any questions about the accession of this piece into the city's collection? Or comments?
We don't have Massiel here, do we, by any chance?
Not today, not usually for the accession.
Got it. Really lovely piece. And also just looking at the images, I was just struck by how different this school looks than the school that I grew up in. So really excited to see a really beautiful building with really beautiful new art. And just a congratulations to the artist.
John, I just want to make a note as well that I think having seen this before us a couple months ago and now seeing the completed artwork, I think it's even more beautiful after it's been completed and seeing it in this broader composition. Just love the gradation of the colors here, and to see it featured in a prominent hallway is just really exciting. I think the kids are really going to love this installation.
Any other commissioners? I now open it up to any members of the public who might have a question or would like to make a comment. There's that silence again, James. Having said that, who would like to make a motion to do one of the best parts of what we do here? Move to accession this piece into the city's collection.
I would like to make a motion to accept Beyond the Horizon into the city's permanent collection.
Thanks, James. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thanks, Kenny. Say yes, Commissioner, if you agree with the motion. James,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
and a very enthusiastic yes from me. The motion passes. Huge congratulations to Massiel, and I think we're all very excited for the students as they get to enjoy this mural over so many years and decades ahead.
Yeah, congratulations. It's really beautiful.
And now, James, I pass it again to you.
Thanks, John. Our next project for discussion is Journey of Light, a 1975 memory field. Emily Rose, passing this off to you.
Thank you so much, John. I am so happy to present Journey of Light, a 1975 memory field by Ngoc-Trân and involving an interactive memorial paying homage to families and communities impacted by the war in Vietnam and commemorating the enduring legacy during the 50th anniversary of the war's end in 2025. Awarded an On-Monument Research and Development grant in 2024, and then another grant for implementation in 2025. We're happy to see trans work come into fruition this fall. I'm going to pass it off to Tran.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. Should I just share my screen kind of thing?
No, Tran, we have your slides here, so
Okay.
we can move through it for you.
Okay. Should I wait till it come up or continue talking?
It's up right now.
It's up right now? Okay, maybe I'm not seeing it as a panel. Okay, let's start. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you, Karen. Greetings, commissioners and everyone. My name is Ngoc-Trân Vu. I go by Tran, and thank you so much for the opportunity to present today. I'm the lead artist and project director for Journey of Light, a 1975 memory field. Today, I'm seeking your approval for the installation project to move forward. In this presentation, I'll share more about the work as well as address any questions that you may have. Next slide, please. So this is a temporary installation, approximately 2 weeks, and this is part of a larger project, an extension of the Work 1975 a Vietnamese Diaspora Memorial. This year is a momentous year. It marks the 50th commemoration year of the end of the war in Vietnam and the beginning of the significant Vietnamese and Southeast Asian diaspora worldwide. This installation helps to honor that history and give voice to the Vietnamese community by paying homage to the journey of thousands of Vietnamese families who resettled in Boston after the fall of Saigon in 1975 and the wave of migration for the past 50 years. So my vision is to create an installation that gives viewers an immersive experience amplifying the conical hats as a symbol of cultural heritage. As a local resident in Dorchester, local resident can experience and get a glimpse of the war's impact through light and sound, activating the memory field at Townfield Park, the heart of the largest Vietnamese community in Boston, Massachusetts, and New England, and as part of Boston Little Saigon Cultural District. Next slide, please. So for the past 2 years and beyond, I've been working with a team to engage the Vietnamese and Dorchester community to cultivate a long-term memorial on public land. And it's a community that I'm a part of. I grew up and still is very, very much connected. We facilitated and hosted over 10 convenings and dialogue night and continue to be present at local events to amplify and advocate for this memorial to come into fruition. This Journey of Light installation is part of this work. It's an extension and a short-term intervention of our proposed site at Townfield Park to commemorate and advocate for a collective vision of the memorial as a public memory marker of our lived experience. Since the beginning of this year, I've been prototyping components of this installation in different iterations. I was an artist in residence at the Goethe Institute in February and worked on experimenting with light and sounds indoors. Next slide, please. Here's an overview timeline of the work that's been taking place for the past 2 years as part of the memorial work. This past April, as part of Remembering Black April for the 50th commemoration, I've worked on another indoor installation as part of the iteration of a multimedia event at BC High with over
700 attendees in person as well as remote. So this is part of this iteration of work of really prototyping different parts of the installation. And next slide. So this opportunity for the installation came through the city's monument call for artists to imagine temporary public arts that challenges traditional monuments and uplift community memory. I saw this as an aligned opportunity to amplify and support our community voice and vision. As mentioned last year, I received the support for research and development for the memorial, and I continue this year to use the parts of the research and development to develop an outdoor installation that really activates the public and the community. And it also includes different components of the memorial design as well. Next slide. Here's more information on my practice as a multimedia artist and community engaged organizer. And next slide. A big part of my project is bringing people together, and here's the team, and they've just been amazing in really helping to support with the technical aspect and the different component that's required as part of the installation to be successful. And next slide. Here's the team, the 1975 that I mentioned I've been working alongside with in the community. And our work is part of that larger effort that I mentioned to really cultivate the long-term memory. And the next slide. Here's the map of Townfield Park, and I think I pinpoint the exact location of the installation right by the playground, kind of with the X. So you see kind of as part of a larger kind of park, but that this area is where a lot of people in public convene. So really seeing as an opportunity to engage and activate. And the next slide. So here at the proposed site, my team and I have done different test trial, and we're in active conversation with Parks and Recs, as well as the engineering team, SGH, and consultant BRM to really work on the exact kind of installation to be sound and safe for the public and for our community. And on slide 11, the next slide is the engineering drawing from SGH on the left, and the measure kind of layout of the installation. On the right side is the rendering of the installation, both day and night, to get that kind of immersive rendering and activation. And this would be the first public project of its kind at Townfield Park. That's more than one day, more than one weekend, hence kind of the 2 weeks period. And the aim is for it to have the opportunity so that our community members can experience and see it. Next slide. So this installation was created through a collaborative design build, really rooted in cultural storytelling and site-specific. And it consists of the illuminated conical hats, fabrication that's lightweight, using LED light, and also string kind of that's battery operated. The lighting components are energy efficient, and that really to really both activate the site that's conducive for the environment. We're very mindful of making sure that no trees or anything is harmed under this process, and as part of that, we continue to have discussion with Parks and Rec so that it really preserve the landscape as well as enhance it. Next slide. Just more kind of information for you to see. And then also on the next slide, I talked about the community engagement aspect, which is really embedded in it. So for the past several months and beyond, I've been working with elders at the Viet 8 Community Center. I've collaborated with them on arts and craft. And I've been working with a collaborating artist, D.H. Vu, on really incorporating sounds and voices to the installation. And so this is something we continue to work on for the installation. And the next slide. So as part of the opening event and this community activation, I'm partnering with Illuminous and BRM to create really continue more sound and layers through projection and transforming that site in one kind of evening, featuring images that are connected to our long-term vision of the memorial, intergenerational stories, and also voices of the community, resilient and contribution over the past 50 years embedded in Dorchester. And yeah, just mindful of time. Next slides. Here are kind of the dates for the installation this month. And with your approval for this project to move forward, we plan to make it a very smooth, effective, and safe one that's really sound for our community and partners. And next slide. I think I should be on the last one. So thank you all.
Thank you. Commissioners, does anyone have a question or a comment? I do, but I'll wait to see if anyone else has anything.
Kenny here. I love the use of the hat to decorate and really bring attention to Vietnamese culture and the community. And I love them being lit in that way too. So I like the use of technology that meets historical cultural context.
Thank you.
My question in your presentation, it seems like you mentioned that you're waiting on some permissions. Is that still true, or what did you mean by that?
Yeah, it's alongside. So right now, we're in like final talks with Parks and Recs. They're the one, from my understanding, that will approve the technical installation. So right now, we're working with SGH on the finalized engineering design, and so we're on this last step to make sure that it's especially around kind of the trees, to make sure that we're mindful of kind of the trees and really connecting it to that. So that's the final step, but that's the last piece in this technical being able to move forward.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Any other commissioners?
I do. With that in mind, I know you're still working out some of the technical details with the engineering. I'm curious what the attachment points are for this sculpture. I saw somewhere that it was zip ties and I believe rope and hooks. Could you talk just briefly about how you plan to attach?
Yeah, we're using stainless steel kind of wiring that's like very durable for the outdoors, and so that's what we've been testing and also planning to use, and we're using that connected to kind of tree in form of like a choker sling that's already in existence right now with the existing tree. So we're planning to tie it to that. So it's not as much as a zip lock as more like a wiring that will be attached. And then we're planning to lift this up at least about 18 feet so that the sag won't hit. And there's at least a clearance of 10 feet so that it will be hard for someone to reach it. And we're also mindful that there's a couple tables there too, so that we're not directly above the table. So just in case someone stands up on it. And so, yeah, that's part of kind of the stainless steel kind of wiring is that, and wrapped around with kind of like a choker sling that's been approved by Parks and Recs. And so as part of this is to ensure that kind of like especially kind of in the space that is secure.
Thank you so much.
Any further commissioners?
I just wanted to add, just to uplift what Tran was saying, there is permission from Parks. They've given guidelines on the attachment methods and specifications. So we do have kind of clear guidelines for their approved attachment methods and locations of the site, just to clarify.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Thanks for that. I'm going to move on to the general public in terms of if anyone in the public has a question or a comment at this time. Okay. It doesn't seem at this time anyone has a comment or question in the general public. So I am wondering, is there a commissioner who wishes to make a motion at this time?
Sure, James. I move to accept final design of Journey of Light at the Dorothy Gibson Playground.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you both. And we can now vote on the motion. When I call your name, please say yay or nay, yes or no. John?
Yes.
I got a little, I'm sorry. Diana?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Abigail.
Yes.
I am a yes as well, and the motion carries. Congratulations on the final design being accepted.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tran.
Our next project for discussion is color flows on Winter Street. And Birgit, I pass it to you.
Great, thank you, John. Color Flows on Winter Street is a series of temporary murals installed as part of the City of Boston Planning Department Placemaking Initiative to begin September 25th and continue for 6 weeks. In addition to cultural programming, food vendors, and street furniture, this activation includes artwork by Massiel Grullon, including painted street murals and applied vinyl graphics on building elevations along Winter Street between Tremont and Washington in downtown Crossing. The proposal underwent an internal staff review of all requirements for temporary public art installations as usual, and as it is temporary and part of a city program, later this evening you will consider whether a proposed staff review process might suffice for specific types of temporary and tactical urbanism projects such as this going forward. And now I'm happy to pass it over to Breeze Outlaw from the City of Boston Planning Department to share Color Flows on Winter Street.
Hello, commissioners. I'm Breeze Outlaw. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a senior urban designer in the planning department. And I'm here to share a little bit more about Color Flows on Winter Street. It's really a placemaking event that we are hoping to bring vibrant design interventions to Winter Street. Next slide. As this last come up, this event is really part of a larger effort known as the Design Vision in regards to part of this 5-year implementation timeline where we're trying to use projects, processes, and policies to advance design principles and ideas that to further the design of the built environment in the city. So this is happening late September-ish, and will be downtown Crossing. We've engaged with a good most of the stakeholders that are along Winter, including business owners and residents and property owners in regards to the ideas and the event that we're trying to host, and they're super excited and really supportive to see this happen. The next slide. This for this particular project, there's a lot of elements to this event. And with that being said, there's like a right of way in regards to like visual art. So there's a street mural, there's some flags on the street lights, and then there's some brown plain vinyl decals. And then there's also like vinyl decal attached to the facades of the private storefronts, particularly vacant storefronts that we're trying to have this horizontal and vertical language in regards to the design and experience of Winter Street. Next slide. The design vision is the planning initiative that we took on in 2023 and engaged many residents in Boston, really asking them what they loved about their neighborhoods and really to better understand how the design of the built environment could be leveraged in a way to express their identity and support their sense of living and the activities and the cultures that they do in their neighborhoods and in their communities. And really this is a vision for designing that built environment in a way so that we're able to anchor a sense of belonging and a sense of place as the city starts to change and continue to grow. We also engage with we had a community advisory board who helped guide us through some of the ideas that we were coming up with through our observations of how people were using their neighborhoods. In general, and through our engagement, we had a series of different activities, mapping exercises, games. People were able to tell stories, and all of these things were kind of pulled together into these key design principles. Next slide. Which these design principles are really leveraged to anchor the design in place and just really guide the good outcomes that we want to see, particularly as it relates to uplifting people and their identities. And so these 4 key principles designed from understanding, which is really understanding the value of people and place and that relationship, the value of that relationship. Designing the future is really understanding how the built environment, the public realm, really needs to be a lab that allows us to experiment to address the challenges that we need to address in the future and unexpected things. Design beyond the boundary is about the public realm being the connective tissue from point A to point B, and it being a safe way to move through, and also an opportunity for identity expression to happen. And then the last one is about design the details. It's really about how you take color, texture, motifs, and people and bring that into the built environment and to have that be reflective of a neighborhood and of a place in general. And if you go to the next slide, through this process, we had observed a lot of Boston itself, particularly how people were using their spaces, and we were able to develop these, identify these place-specific opportunities to help us inform how future design guidelines could help us expand and reimagine how we design and our public realm, particularly through streets, open spaces, and houses. But for this particular opportunity, streets was really an interesting idea. And so this opportunity with Winter Street came up as very much as a tactical urbanism, where we're able to leverage art as an urban strategy for helping with placemaking. Next slide. And Winter Street is in it's in downtown Crossing. It's a very busy pedestrian zone. And had the slides changed? Okay, thanks. A very busy pedestrian zone. People are moving through here from, and every hour, more or less. It's really a thoroughfare, the connective tissue from any part to connect to any part of the city, particularly as it relates to downtown Crossing and its connectivity throughout the city. This is a space where there's a lot of storefronts that transition in and out. And one point in time, and still to this day, downtown Crossing in general was a hot spot for shopping and just hanging out and activities. And so we're really trying to understand how can we bring some of back of that vibrancy that Winter Street once had back in the day, so that, this could be a testing of the street and thinking about how do we start to reinvigorate the Winter Street, especially as we look for future improvements along in downtown Crossing in general in the future. Next slide. As we looked at further earlier, we're working with Massiel Grullon, talented muralist and artist. You're all familiar with her work, and for us, we came up with the concept of color flows very early on, and her geometric gradients and symmetry was really something that really felt appropriate for the theme, and so she was recommended by our tactical urbanist consultant as an artist who does this work, and really someone who have the ability to articulate color flows and this gradient in an area like Winter Street. You can go to the next slide. In an area like Winter Street that has so much eclectic architecture and like just hardness in general, given that it's a pedestrian zone and it's just pavers. And in addition to that, this is a very fast-paced project event that we're trying to host. And so being able to work with someone who has the experience on working on large-scale public art projects and being able to execute quality design was very much something that we knew Massiel could do based on her experiences working in other projects. Next slide. So this slide kind of gives you a little bit more context in regards to where the graphics are. It's a site plan of Winter Street. and it gives you a sense of the street mural itself will be the full length of the street, which is about 485 feet, more or less. And then the dots you see are the vinyl decals that would be adhered to the street sidewalk. And then the blue lines are indicating the private property areas where we'll have vinyl decals along the private the storefronts, which I can show an example of that as well in this presentation. Next slide. I just want to move quickly. I can answer questions after. So this was really out, illustrating that we're doing 3 segments of street mural along Winter Street. And each of them have their own color gradient. It'll be hand painted by Massiel. Her process is she basically uses a VR headset to kind of etch out the design itself, and it'll be primed, etched out, and then she comes in with the colors and do the gradient that she does. And so these will be harmonious gradient circles with linear geometries, and the specs of the painting is Benjamin Moore, and so it's simply it's going to be a primer that is like a latex primer, and then a satin paint that goes over that would be colored. And this is specs that the specs for this paint has exterior use. It's scuff resistant. It has a low sheen finish, which helps with reducing slipperiness. And in regards to install, the idea is to prep the site, and which means cleaning the site, and then securing the site where we kind of block off the area that we're working on with barricades, so that folks are not walking in the way, but access will still be allowed along the sidewalks, so folks can go about their usual routine. And in regards to the maintenance, this is temporary. So, from a day-to-day point of view, we'll be working with a partner, Downtown Boston Alliance, to make sure the street is being taken care of and sprayed down. And wherever there's a spot for where there's any damage, we'll have a touch-up kit to kind of make those repairs. Next slide. We'll also be using flags as another visual expression for this project. And these were also designed by Massiel. There are existing or were existing, they usually put these flags out during the 4th of July summer season. And so what we're leveraging is the infrastructure that already exists. And so essentially they're simple poles, 1¾ to 1 inch diameter poles, and the flags are about 3 by 5, and there'll be 4 different colors, and a total about 15 flags along the street of Winter Street. And we're going to be using a fabric, that's fade resistant and weather resistant as well. And simply put, where you see the pole bracket, we're just inserting the pole into existing attachment that is on the streetlights. Next slide. And then for the ground plane vinyl, again, these are circle gradient circles that will be peel and stick to the ground. They range in size from 3 feet to 7 feet in diameter, and they take up about 1,500 square feet total throughout Winter Street, and then will come in various colors. And these are typically used on exterior. They're for short-term use, so at the end of the activation, they'll be removed, but there's no adhesive residue or anything like that, and they're highly durable. But given that they're temporary, in regards to cleaning, they'll probably just be sprayed down if when needed. And again, the DBA will be helping to maintain those things and kind of flag anything that might need to be removed or replaced. We'll get a couple of replacements as we need to. The next slide. The next slide is the window decals on private property, and just to kind of give you a little bit of context of how the ground decals and the window decals are in dialogue. And these will be made out of a vinyl perforated material, similar colors to the ground decals as well, and easy peel and stick, easy removal. We've been in communication with different property owners and working with them to get guidance on the proper design of these decals based on the level of visibility and also based on them wanting to continue to advertise their retail space for lease. And maintenance will just be inspected daily. And if it needs to be replaced throughout the 6-week activation, we'll have an extra few vinyl decals to replace it. Next slide. All of this work is in preparation for the event that will be happening in late September. And so in regards to our schedule, we're still confirming things, but from a sequence point of view, we're cleaning the street, power washing it, we're prepping the site, we're installing the street mural paint in 3 segments, and that will follow the installation of these site furnishings, which will be seatings and planters that really support the physical aspects of the event. The event will be for 6 weeks, and after the event, the vinyl decals will be removed. The street mural will stay there, but it will be temporary. BTD has plans to redo Winter Street, and so that will be there until then. The flags will possibly be also removed, but they could stay up until they need to be replaced by other flags for other seasonal times during the year as well. And I believe that's it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Breeze. It's exciting to see Winter Street and how it'll be enlivened by all of that. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
Breeze, I think I missed, what is the event? What will the event consist of?
The event will consist of I guess it would be like it's a placemaking activation. It will include a food and beverage gathering space. And in that first rendering, 30 Winter, we'll have tables and chairs kind of set up, and we'll be partnering with a food vendor for folks to come there for lunch and dinner. It will also include some programming that is being led by MOAC, which will include a block party, a costume party, DJ performances, a kids day where we'll bring in inflatables, as well as a vintage market, which we have like 3 big, large events scheduled throughout the activation. And so this is just a place just to activate. People move through here a lot, not a lot of people stay. And so we're trying to bring an element of this. It's also a way to encourage the more economic piece of Winter Street in general. Like, you pilot this, it encourages more long-term, it can be a catalyst to long-term investment. And so, for instance, with the storefront, the vacant storefront, we're hoping that putting a spotlight, literally putting color on it, will kind of draw people who are interested in being part of Winter Street. And therefore businesses come in to fill those vacant storefronts.
I see, thank you. And can I ask one more question? Are you thinking of this as kind of a pilot that you might learn from to do similar activations in other neighborhoods of the city? Or
Yeah.
it's kind of a one-off thing, or like an annual festival kind of thing?
Yeah, we've been having early conversations about what this could look like to this being the pilot and figuring out how to redo this in other areas in the city. We'll be also doing like a data collection, like a public study, kind of calculating the number of people who are coming through the space, getting a sense of the impact that this event is having on the businesses and the sense of safety and the perception of safety, as a way to kind of inform the value of these types of projects. And so we're hoping this could be a case study to leverage and do again in other areas of the city.
Okay, thank you.
Breeze, I have a question. We shared with us the schedule. So are you on target with your schedule currently?
Target is it's a great term, but yes, I think we are thinking of the late September. The artist is ready to go in regards to site prep, and is confident that she's able to complete it within 2 weeks. Total time for including prep and the painting. And according to the schedule, I think we can hit it, and we're currently we've already gotten our street occupancy permit and street closure permit for the event and for this activity. And so we just have a couple of other permits to kind of wrap up in regards to the food vendors, but we're on target to have it in late September.
Right, and so that's confirming that you're prepping the street right now and you're installing the mural next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
Breeze, can you tell us a bit more about who or the plan is for food and beverage vendors, considering that there are some businesses in the area as well? So what is the process for bringing in a vendor, and how does it interact with the other businesses that already exist in the area?
Yeah, we've been working with our consultant team with locking in a vendor. We a vendor who has, I guess, aligns with the vision and branding of this event, particularly from a family-friendly, all-inclusive, age-inclusive event. And so we've been able to partner with a vendor for that through our consultant. Um, we are thinking that this will also kind of function as a beer garden, but with some food, and we will have food trucks and food carts, and we won't be competing with the main hub where we'll have food, but also we're not competing with the existing offerings on winter. So there's a few restaurants at the corner mall, as well as a few restaurants along winter. And so we are working to, find food carts and food trucks that are will complement some of the already food that it's offering, even inviting food vendors, food restaurants that are along winter to participate as well. Um, and so with that, we're just hoping to be able to use the food trucks and the food carts just to supplement those large event scale days where we need to kind of spread out the capacity of the food hub that we have, and just balance it with different offerings in general.
Any other commissioner comments or questions? Well, I now turn to the public. If anyone would like to make a comment or ask a question. Seems no one has a comment at this time. Having said that, I'm curious. Oh, Innocent, please. She's asking about the performance.
Performance. Yeah, the final details, the details are still in the works. MOAC is leading that. But in regards to performances, what we've discussed is having a feature a DJ on, midday hours, and then maybe there's an opportunity to collaborate with students in the area, whether that be Berkeley or Suffolk University, to perform. I think they're currently connecting with different artists to figure out who is available, and if this is a good fit for them.
Thanks so much, Breeze. Innocent was also asking, who could an artist contact if they wanted to perform at the event? So I'm curious if any MOAC staff could answer that.
I think you can reach out to arts@boston.gov with your questions, and we can get back to you.
And Sylvia, let me just pull up her comment. Says she's excited to see more art activations in downtown Crossing. Massiel is a strong choice for this project. Thanks so much. Any other comments or questions from the public? Again, I can't quite see hands when they go up.
I don't see any.
Okay, thanks, Karen. With that, I'm curious if a commissioner would like to make a motion to approve this project.
I would like to move to approve this project for an activation event on Winter Street.
Thanks, Kenny. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Thanks, Brian. Commissioners, after I say your name, please say yes if you approve the motion. James,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
Diana.
I'm voting recused.
Thanks, Diana. Kenny,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Excited to see this sort of lively activation of Winter Street. Thanks so much, Breeze, for the presentation and bringing it to us.
Thank you.
Our next presentation will be introduced by Karen.
Thank you, Commissioner. Today, we'd like the Commissioner's input and insight on the concept of incorporating an internal staff review into our public art process and the aims of alleviating these very packed agendas by conducting formal staff reviews on standardized temporary proposals and reporting those at public meetings. BAC Administrator Paul Zotov is actively researching different formats of this, including speaking with other commissions such as Landmarks who offer staff review, taking a Massachusetts state-led boards and commissions course offered through OIG Academy, as well as robust conversations with our partnering departments regarding their needs and our project managers to discuss how we would staff and build this into our intake process. Based on your discussions today, we'll incorporate your thoughts into a comprehensive proposal that we expect to include eligibility criteria, internal and external operational processes, as well as staffing. We propose that you consider a vote on this proposal in the near future, but today we really just want to raise the question and request your feedback on the concept surrounding staff review in general so that we can ensure our research is thorough. And on the next slide, we have a few case studies to share, to give you a sense of what we are thinking around this. So these are some projects that we have been seeing come to the commission. We have tactical urbanism, like the project we saw today. We have paint box, which we do across the city. We have these standardized photography installations we've been seeing come in. And we have installations like Destiny Palmer's piece here in Codman Square that was recently installed that we declined to review. Because we weren't really seeing it as artworks, but there are often requests from our colleagues at the city to do, for us to give input. So these are the kinds of projects that we would like to spend time researching and come back to you with and see if we would be able to, based on, as I said, based on precedent set by other commissions, do staff review for these and then report on them in the public meeting. I just wanted to open that up to you all for input or any feedback.
Can you clarify, Karen? So I think what you're saying is that the commission's meetings are very, very packed. There's a lot going on,
Yeah.
and they're hoping to alleviate that by moving some things off of commission decision-making and into staff decision-making. Is that right?
Yeah, and that we would research like what the parameters of that would be and come back to you, and we thought we might get any feedback from you. Paul is going to lead that research after this. As I said, like the Landmarks Commission does this, and so, for example, on Scott Foster's piece for the installation on Quincy Market, when we're working with them to install hanging mechanisms there, and we're doing that through staff review. So not going to a public meeting because it is something that their commission feels like staff could manage and then report back to them. And so that's the kind of thing that we'd be proposing. And again, we haven't done this research yet, but something like the project that we just saw, we have seen things like this come through. We've also had a lot of back and forth with other departments who might want to incorporate more design elements into their work, but they may not want to go there. They're often quite overwhelmed, and sort of building this process into their procedures can be cumbersome as well. So we can see some possible efficiencies in this if we keep it limited to these sort of standardized kinds of projects that are already sort of pre-approved in their form, like the ones you see as case studies on the screen.
I think one comment I'd like to add too is that I think I'm wearing both hats here, you know, working for the city and also sitting on the commission. And I think one of the things that's really interesting for me is thinking about whether the staff review is really focused on temporary projects and how you approach those. There's sort of a difference to an installation versus a long-term art piece that, you know, needs to go through very thorough review. So that's, you know, that is, I think, a question I think we can all kind of wrestle with a little bit as, you know, we're seeing lots of different ideas being thrown at the downtown for how to, you know, bring new energy into it. I think we're going to see a lot more of, you know, the city and I think even other nonprofits, you know, flexing tactical strategies that are temporary in nature as a means to generate economic development or engage in placemaking. And I wonder if some of those temporary activities or installations are, you know, worthy of the staff review and not necessarily need to go through the commission.
Diana, I agree with that this should only be considered for temporary installations. I think the photography installation is an interesting example because when they first came to the commission, we did have some questions for them, but now that we have a sort of standardized protocol and procedure, it just feels really repetitive for them to keep coming back because it is always sort of the same iterative process that they're using. And again, with the paint boxes, I believe those did come to the commission individually. And over time, there were just so many paint boxes throughout the city that the commission determined the overall structure of the program would need to be reviewed each year, but that each individual paint box could be staff review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at a certain point, the commission just asked us to stop bringing every single paint box in. But it's a similar issue. Yeah.
The question and comment is around capacity. Just want to see within staff, is this something that like we are thinking that like current project managers would take on, or what the process is, considering that we know at times that with MOAC and public art project managers do work are under capacity to kind of like really move a lot of things forward. So curious to see how, you know, imagine this will, yes, free up capacity for the commission and the potential impact on internal staff.
Thank you, Kenny. Yeah, so for example, for the project we just saw, Birgit spent, and Breeze can attest to this, Birgit spent a lot of time pressing them for details and more information. And so we're really already doing that work. And so in that way, we would not be increasing staff time on project, we'd be decreasing it because then staff would not have to spend time preparing presentations and working with folks, first to convince them to come, you know, and second to get their presentation, get everything in a presentation format rather than the proposal format that Birgit does already review.
Yeah, and I think just the same kind of metrics for review that we do currently to bring anything to the BAC, we would be following those same requirements and standards for safety and design intent and all the same requirements would be met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Karen, I think that was my comment of, I think from my perspective, this work is kind of already happening, you know, like so much of the actual work of the really in-depth logistics of managing these projects in reality is really managed by the staff with an eventual kind of commission approval. There is a part of me that does kind of enjoy the formality of a formal process of approval for even temporary projects. Just, you know, as an awareness, you know, for the commission that these projects are happening, and also to some degree, I kind of see the work that we do as showing like a certain amount of like formal respect to the projects themselves, and not kind of wanting that to get lost in the process, but also like recognizing that like in this type of public format, we often don't need to kind of like worry about the very detailed minutia of a project, that actually the staff is better set up to take care of those details. So I think I'm just kind of recognizing and raising up all of the work that already does happen at the staff level, which is incredible. Kind of looking at like the the number of paint boxes, even 89 paint boxes I'm seeing in the chat. So incredible work, and I think kind of supporting moving forward in this way.
I just want to say I'm interested in looking into this, and to Brian's point, in terms of a policy and what we will look at and what we can put on staff, as long as it's clearly written out, I think that can actually give importance to the process, no matter who looks at it. So I'd like to see where we go with this.
Yeah, and I'll add, if we can, as part of maybe the director's report, let us know what's been submitted as far as temporary installation to be reviewed. And then at the end, that way we don't just hear about it once it's been approved. That way there's like an announcement of the review and then the final approval. That way we know that there's a lifespan of this being reviewed, looked at, and going back and forth with the artist or the presenter, the proponent at that point maybe could be the process.
Thank you.
One thing that interests me, Karen, you won't be surprised to hear me say, because I know we recently spoke about some orientation questions. I would be interested, the commissioners comprise such a wealth of experience and connection in the city, so much knowledge and so much networking, and so much also just art knowledge as well, and community knowledge. But our agendas are so packed that we really don't bring that to bear. And I wonder if easing the pressure on the meetings might allow for a little bit more room to talk about where is the city, where do we envision public role, do we envision public art playing in the city? What are we learning from on Monument? Things that are not so project specific, but more global.
Thank you, Abigail.
I do want to be mundane and have us acknowledge the time as we have this discussion and what we have left to do. So I just want to just say that.
I think we'll come back to you. We'll do our work and we'll come back to you. Thank you.
I just
think-
want to say,
Go ahead,
just
Paul.
really quickly, are there any other questions or concerns that we should be considering as we research this precedent and formulate a larger proposal?
I think for me, I'm just aware that there have been moments in the past for the Art Commission and for MOAC where there's been community controversy over certain decisions, and I would like to shield the staff from that kind of trouble. I don't really know how else to put it, but I think that's part of why the reason the rules are so strict about containing the conversations among commissioners and so on. And I'm sure that's part of what your research will unearth, Karen and Paul. But what is required by the rules that set up a commission to vet public art, to make sure that you don't find yourself in a hot water later.
Yeah, very much. We'll be doing research and we can check in with legal as well. That's great insight, Abigail.
Anything else, commissioners? I just want to remind us that this is one of the last times that we will have public a moment to chat about this. And I do want to be cognizant of time, but also want to make sure that anything that comes to light that would be in the service that that you want to see kind of laid out in this proposal, that'd be very helpful for us.
I would say, Paul, very quickly that the project that we just discussed on Winter Street, that was a city department talking to a city department. And for these temporary projects of that scale, I feel like that's an important component to consider. Two parts of city workers who know the rules and know the ins and outs of how these projects come together. I might be a little hesitant for outside groups who haven't gone through this process before. For example, the photo installations, they've done it before, so they know how it works. That might be something I might consider, that whatever sort of slight loosening of the rules or commission votes should be relatively narrow to start, maybe as a pilot, and then to see if things can radiate out from there.
Very helpful, thank you.
Yeah, I would add for like the photo installation, like, are they submitting is it a gallery submission? Like they're asking to display something in a gallery in addition to the public art display form? So I think like because I think that might differentiate between, again, like the different kind of the 4 categories that were presented there. So if there's like a particularity with photo installations as part of the general gallery work that's done at City Hall, I think that could also warrant the internal staff review for photo exhibits if they're like standalone. So just something to maybe research and think to see if there's a differentiation between photo exhibits, for instance, and other kind of public art installations as it pertains to galleries, anyways.
And finally, for me, I'd just like to acknowledge the extraordinary volume of work that your office does. It's really kind of, it's outstanding. It's really impressive. And you don't have a gigantic team doing that work. So I think I appreciate that you're acknowledging that volume of work and the extra work that it takes to do these public presentations.
Well said, Abigail.
Awesome.
Paul, Karen, and Birgit, anything else you need from us?
No, we'll come back to you with any questions, but we'll do our research and hopefully we'll have something thorough to present in the near future.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
James, I can take this one. If I'm not mistaken, we're now moving into the projects that do not need vote, but are just for review. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and I just want to remind us all that we have 3 presentations left. It is 6:28, so please, if presenters could try and keep this at 5 minutes, that would be desperately appreciated. Thank you all.
Thanks so much. Our next project for discussion is Breathe Life, Epiphany. And Emily Rose, I pass this off to you.
Thank you so much, John. I'm excited to present Breathe Life, Epiphany by Robert Pro Black Gibbs, a long-term a part of the Unmonument Initiative for Final Design at the Epiphany School. In partnership with the Epiphany School, Pro Black's new mural, Breathe Life, Epiphany, stands as a visual anthem for Black joy and creative resistance. Breathe Life 8, the latest chapter of Pro Black's iconic mural series, reflects the voices of Dorchester's youth and honors the community's past, present, and future, while expanding the monumental impact of Pro Black's Life mural series within the city of Boston's commemorative landscape. And I'm going to pass it off to you, Gina.
Thank you, Emily. Hi, my name is Gina. I am here on behalf of Pro Black, who is currently in the midst of installation for this beautiful mural. Next slide, please. Next slide. As Emily stated, this mural is being installed at the Epiphany School in Dorchester. It is adjacent to Shawmut Station, so there is a lot of foot traffic. It is a highly visible exterior wall. Next slide, please. If you could go to the site map. that would be amazing. So there is the wall. Like I said, it's adjacent to Shawmut Station. The wall spans over 40 feet in width and 2 stories high. In the process of engaging the Epiphany School, Rob worked with a small group of students hand-selected by the Epiphany, which was composed primarily of art majors. This gave students the ability to be part of the process from ideation all the way down to creation. The school is currently in session, so these students are getting to see this work come to life in real time. If you could go to the next slide, which I believe is the mock-up. I'm sorry, and we were granted permission to install this mural by John Finley, who is the head of schools at the Epiphany School. And here is a rendering of Breathe Life. This is number 8 in Rob's Breathe Life series. We are looking forward to completion of this mural this month, and there will be a community activation, the date still to be determined, to celebrate this piece. This is the wall in progress. This photo was taken a little while back, so there has been more progress since then, but we are really excited to see this mural come to completion. Thank you.
Thanks so much for bringing this up. I see here we have the installation and fabrication plan, as well as a maintenance plan. Commissioners, I'm curious to hear any comments or questions you might have. I think one question that I have is ProBlack has so many murals throughout the city at different locations, and I'm curious if there's any way that you can connect this mural and what it means in part of his larger series at the site. I'm curious about any sort of didactic information that might be able to be included.
Absolutely. We could include some information tying the series together as a whole. I do also believe that that Rob has been in communication with Karen in regards to highlighting the Breathe Life series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we talked to Rob about through On Monument finding opportunities, maybe through an artist panel to celebrate, or maybe some other activities to celebrate the full work that he's done across the city and really find ways to frame it, you know, as a distributed monument across the city and to celebrate his work.
I'll
Thank
also
you.
add that Rob was one of the interviewees for the Bloomberg Connects project. So we'll also, and a lot of that was exactly about this kind of framing of how these works come together through the Epiphany. So we're looking forward to sharing that out with you too as another communications touch point. So a different kind of didactic.
That's great, Paul. Any other commissioners? Well, I now open it up to any members of the public who might have a question or comment. Well, hearing none, I'm very glad to hear about this mural and part of the Unmonument project. Excited to see it completed and realized. So we can, I have a question from Sylvia. Is it possible that there are current tech difficulties for the public participating live? I'm not sure. I will have Paul answer that. Do you know of any, Paul?
Not on my end, Sylvia. I'm seeing hands go up as they come in, yeah, from both the audience attendees and the panelists. If you want to shoot me an email specifically right now, or I'm happy to try and figure out what your tech problem is, but is there something that is impeding you specifically? I'll also message you on Zoom.
Thanks, Sylvia. Well, with that, James, I pass it to you to discuss the next project.
Certainly, certainly. Our next project for discussion is Plain Table. Emily Rose, I'm passing this off to you.
Thank you so much, James. So this year, the Powell Arts Center launches Public Art Series in Chinatown, curated by Lani Accessioning, in collaboration with Ecosistema Urbano and the Greenway to create Plain Table, a temporary artwork as part of the Unmonument Initiative for final design at Chin Park on the Rose Kennedy Greenway. The installation was adapted to transform the area near Chinatown Gate into an engaging green space for visitors and community to gather, learn, and reflect. It mitigates the urban heat island effect and provides a cool, welcoming environment for both people and the local wildlife. And I'm going to pass it on to you, Lani.
Thank you, Emily. We can go to the first slide, please. The project Plantable is why? Well, we wanted Plantable to be a modular temporary installation designed to address rising urban heat and biodiversity loss in Boston Chinatown, the city's hottest neighborhood, featuring 16 trees and pollinator-friendly plants. It provides immediate climate relief while supporting long-term resilience. The table also functions as a climate timeline, visualizing temperature increases since 1870 until now. Blending landscape architecture, horticulture, and art, Plantable creates an inclusive space for gathering and reflection, celebrating Chinatown's legacy of hospitality and care. After the installation, all vegetation, all plants will be shared with the community members in Chinatown, extending its ecological impact. Plantable is both a statement and a solution, demonstrating how nature can be shaped more equitable and resilient public spaces and adapt cities for life amid the climate crisis. This piece is in Chin Park on the Rose Kennedy Greenway, and it went up on August 15th was the opening, and it will be up until October 24th, 2025 this year. And this image is by Emilio Duezizua. Next image, please. Next slide. Just a little bit about myself. I am the curator and public art manager at Powell Arts Center, Boston Chinatown Neighborhood Center. And the criteria for this curatorial selection was based on inviting local artists and arts personal teams that focus on improving and bringing awareness around green spaces and climate change mitigation, efforts already taking place in Chinatown by community members. The work responds directly to Chinatown Cultural Plan, priorities of uplifting stories of Chinatown neighborhood and public realm, and to run creative initiatives around urban greening and resiliency in public spaces. Construct accessible intergenerational space to linger, sit, play, and host temporary art exhibitions, workshops, and activations outdoors. And this photo is by Sasha Pedro at Mass Mocha Studios. Next slide, please. The work is by Ecosistema Urbano. They are an international architecture and urban design studio working across urban constituency, public spaces assessment, and urban transformation processes. Their practice is rooted in the design of high-quality public spaces that enhance bioclimatic performance and ensure climatic comfort, adapting to a wide range of environmental conditions. In response to climate change, they embed resilient design principles into every project, combining immediate interventions with long-term strategies to promote more sustainable, livable, adaptable urban environments. Next slide, please. The project here, as you can see, is located on the Rose Kennedy Greenway, Auntie Kay and Uncle Frank Chin Park on the John F. Fitzgerald Surface Road, Boston, Mass. It's close to the Chinatown Gate in proximity. It's also located by the Blueback Rack. Chin Park is used primarily by Chinatown residents, community members, student communities, and tourists. More than 1,000 people access and use this site on a daily basis. Next slide, please. Palo Arts Center has been working closely with the Greenway since fall of 2024 to actualize this project. We have an executed MOU. The Greenway has helped us. We've been working with the public art, their horticulture team, their maintenance team, and capital projects to actualize this on the Greenway Conservancy. And this is information. We work closely with Dr. Audrey Lopez, Director of the Curator of Public Art, and we also work with Adam Torres, the Public Art Manager in the Department of Public Art Department. Next slide, please. Here are some examples of the work that is currently up. As you can see, the red bars, they signify the timeline from 1870 until now. And where the folks are sitting on the right, on the photo on the left, is where that time expands. Next slide, please. You can see the pollinators, the plants. This is the activation of the opening that we had in August. And here are the community engagement methods that we used. We got feedback and responses that were done in person at community events for Palo Arts Center, myself, and other staff at Palo Arts engaged with the public to ask where their hopes and dreams, what were their ideas for a more green space in Chinatown, and shared renders, drafts of Ecosistema Urbano's design, as you can see there in the photo. Conversations with local community members, organizations included attending a public space meeting on March 1st, 2025 at the Josiah Quincy Elementary School. Written responses were also collected on a community feedback wall during the Celebrations of Perseverance Public Art in Chinatown 2024 and 2025 exhibition at Palo Arts Center on the Monument Initiative Public Art and Performances that was on exhibition from March 20th to July 20th in 2025 at Palo Arts Center in the Art Gallery. Next slide, please. Here are some examples of the community engagement. This is the installation plan. I do want to note that the opening was on October 15th of this year, and the closing will be on October 18th of this year. So please take note of that update. And here's the timeline, and here's installation. Next slide, please. Fabrication plan, as you can see, there was Ecosistema Urbano fabricated sections of the table. They transported them via U-Haul, and they prefabricated some pieces and then brought them together, drillable on site. We have materials are grow bags and pre-planted plants that were selected from a local nursery. The materials and methods used are pollinator-friendly plants, trees, wood, textile grow bags, and aluminum. We included stamped drawings in our proposal and with our approval, landscape architecture plans, artwork technical specifications, a list of subcontractors, MSDS safety and data sheets, and or other details specific to the project. Next slide, please. So the fabrication plan, this project illustrates how project art can be amplifying existing grassroots Chinatown work, in this case, increasing green space and mitigating heat. Boston's Chinatown is an area disproportionately affected by climate change due to its lack of tree canopy and high concentration of impermeable surfaces, material challenges rooted in systematic eco-racism. Chinatown has been one of the lowest tree canopy coverage rates in the city, with an alarming 8% compared to the city's goals of 30%. And in 2020, State Tree Inventory Report is where we got that information. This lack of greenery significantly exacerbates the urban heat island effect, making the area more vulnerable to extreme heat events. A 2022 Boston Globe article exposes Chinatown as the city's hottest neighborhood, with temperatures during heat waves as much as 10% degrees higher than other Boston neighborhoods. Included in this proposal, again, are the engineer drawings, which can be viewed here but via link, landscape architecture plans, artwork, technical specifications, a list of subcatches, etc. Next slide, please. This work is not for review. Our permits, we do not need to present that. We're working with the Greenway Conservancy. We've already installed the work as explained, and Ecosistema Urbano did the work. Next slide, please. So the work has currently been taken care of. It has an internal irrigation system. We also have folks going on site, watering it on high heat days and as needed, about 3 times twice a week. Both Powell Art Center and the Greenway are coordinating the watering, and Ecosistema has been watering for the first month. Described, so if we will be working, Powell Art Center will work with Ecosistema Urbano and the Greenway if there's any damage or anything is needed. Next slide, please. And thank you so much. We are very happy to be able to share this work, and we are just so happy to have it in the Chinatown community. Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing. Commissioners, does anyone have a comment or a question?
I just want to
Lonnie,
make a quick comment.
Go ahead, Diana.
Oh, I'm sorry, John.
No, go ahead.
I'm just so excited to see this work up. I had worked on the heat plan before as a consultant before I joined the city, and to see work actually happening in this neighborhood. It is the hottest neighborhood in the city. It does not cool down. I think it's just really impactful. So really, really beautiful project. And I love the layers of, history and activism that are layered into the, actual seating elements themselves. I thought that that was really clever. So just want to applaud the work.
Thank you, Diana. And also they are marked by year, and there's little plaques with QR codes that people then can scan. So there's more information. So sorry, I left that part out, but thank you so much.
Lonnie, thank you. Oh, go ahead, Abigail.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, John. Lonnie, I'll just say I wish that this could be a permanent installation rather than a temporary one.
Agreed, Abigail. Thank you.
Lonnie, thank you so much for your presentation. I will say I walk by this every day on my way to work, and it's a really amazing addition to that neighborhood and that square, and it brings so much color, vibrancy, and foliage, which is much needed. So many thanks for your work on this. And of course.
Thank you, John. I'll let everybody know that.
Are there any other commissioners who wish to make a comment? If not, we can move to the general public. Any comments or questions?
Audrey, I see that you're here. I don't know if you wanted to make any comment about this. No need if not, but
I
just curious since I see you.
I just want to extend deep thanks to Lonnie for all of your work as a curator and as a leader on this project. It's been amazing to witness that and to also be a recipient of it on the Greenway. The way that this work has transformed that space, I see it on a daily basis as I walk through Chinatown. It's no longer a pass through, but actually a gathering space. and a place where people can have generative experiences and rest and relaxation, as well as the climate impacts that it has. So just thank you, and thanks to Powell Arts Center and Cynthia as well.
Thank you much. Thank you so much, Audrey, for all of your support all the way through from every single step. It has been invaluable. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Paul, I did see a chat, but I'm not sure where that's gone. Having not heard anything, thanks so much for that presentation. It looks wonderful in in the space as it is. So thanks so much for that.
Thank you, James.
And now we'll move to our final presentation, the Greenway Seasonal Public Program.
Thank you so much, and good evening, commissioners. Good evening, Office of Arts and Culture, community members. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you about 3 temporary hosted projects that we're able to support this fall. The Greenway Public Art Program aims to bring innovative contemporary art to Boston through temporary free exhibitions that engage people in meaningful experiences and dialogue with art, each other, and the most pressing issues of our time. As you know, we curate a season of public art each year, typically with long-term installations lasting 12 to 18 months that come to fruition through 2 to 3 years of working with artists. That's our main seasonal process for curating public art along the Greenway. This year, we were also approached by 3 existing community partners that we have strong relationships with about the possibility of hosting temporary projects on the Greenway for periods of between 6 to 8 weeks this fall. Each of these projects were curated externally and respond to pressing issues within Boston's communities and beyond, and are in dialogue with artwork that's currently on the Greenway. So we're excited to support these projects as they tie into the goals of strengthening relationships, as well as creating opportunities for new and multiple curatorial voices that help strengthen the Greenway as a space of true collective public imagination. I think Lonnie's project is a perfect example of that. Knowing that our time is short together, I will be quick. And Paul, if you could pass to the 3rd slide in the presentation, that would be great.
I just want to hold for 1 second because I think Birgit, as the project manager, is also just going to introduce it.
Yeah, I just had a quick intro. Thank you. I just wanted to share that as Dr. Audrey Lopez is here to share these 3 projects. As she shared, these projects developed in partnership with curatorial partners explore many of the same themes and questions posed by the city's Unmonument program, inviting opportunities for conversation and expanding the possibilities for public art programming partnerships in Boston. Additionally, as these projects may look familiar to some of you on the commission, Jahari Ortega's commission received a 2025 Unmonument grant, and Victor Quinones received a 2024 Research and Development grant, and previously came before the commission to propose his project for another location. So now Audrey, and Audrey will be sharing Pow's work that Lonnie shared out there, also a curatorial partner with Unmonument. So I'm happy to pass it back to you, Audrey, and with appreciation for sharing these projects with the commission today. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could go forward 2 slides, please. Another slide, please. Thank you. So this is Plantable, as was presented by Lania Asuncion, and we were excited, thank you, to host that this fall, which opened in August. The second project that we're excited to host in a temporary way is Elevar la Cultura by Victor Marca Quinones. This project looks familiar to many of you as it did come before the commission, I believe, as part of the Unmonument project. This is a 22-foot tall pyramid made out of coolers. Next slide, please. Speaking to the work and labor of undocumented and immigrant communities across the country. This work was initially brought through the Unmonument process and later commissioned by The Shed in New York City, and we're excited to bring it to Greenway in partnership with New Commonwealth Fund, as well as Street Theory Collective. We believe that this really responds to a timely issue within our country and speaks to this kind of wider
uplifting of stories of immigrants as well as undocumented folks in our community. It will be on the Greenway opening September 12th through November 3rd. So it will be on view for a run of 6 weeks. As you can see, the project has stanchions down at the bottom to protect it. It will also be double stanchioned at night, and there will be a security on patrol in Dewey Square just to ensure that no one interacts with the artwork in ways that would damage the artwork or would be, that would damage the artwork. We're excited to host this. I'd like to pass it off to co-presenter Dr. Makiba Bakuri, president of the New Commonwealth Fund, to share a little bit about the support of this project in Boston at this time. And I believe also Victor Quinones, the artist, is on the call with us as well.
Thank you, Audrey. I just have to say thank you for letting me spend the end of my day with you. I've been lurking for a while, and this just has brought me joy to see so much incredibly beautiful and meaningful and intentional conversations using all of these different mediums in our city. So I actually like to say thank you to all of you and to the commission for hosting this. I will go quickly. I know it's also the end of everyone's day, and just say, I think 3 things that are really important to me. One is we were honored to be approached by the Greenway and by Victor and Street Theory to try to make sure that we got this over the finish line. Disappointed that it's for such a short period of time, but we'll take it. It's the first thing. And so any other opportunities we can take to support this showing up in Boston or even in Massachusetts will be there for that. I think the second thing is that when I had the privilege of seeing this at the Shed, where, a competitive group here in Boston, I thought the first thing I thought was, yeah, it's coming to Boston. You guys can have it for a little while, but we're next. And my board felt similarly. It's just really breathtaking, especially when you're in front of it and you get a chance to interact with it in real life. And then the third thing that I'll say, and this is not to be political, but I think it's important is, and I said this to the mayor this afternoon, that this was really, for me, an easy decision to bring forward to the board in spite of the challenges that we're having right now as a racial equity fund in so many ways. This was really a no-brainer because for me, it really emulates the courage that she has displayed in her representing Boston and making sure that it's clear that we honor all of our residents. We really feel strongly that all of their gifts should be celebrated and that we want to be the kind of city that is willing to host this kind of incredibly gorgeous statement about humanity. So thank you for letting me have a chance to speak.
Thank you, Makiba. I'd also like to just pass it to Victor for a short comment before I go on. We have probably a minute left, and I would like to get to the third project we're hosting this fall. So Victor, if there's anything you'd like to share.
Yeah, of course. I mean, first and foremost, thank you everyone that has supported this project from its inception. And also just incredibly thrilled that it has come to Boston. Boston is my second home. I've raised children here. I've had kids graduate from high school here. I graduated from college here. I have really strong ties in this city, and next to Pro Black, probably have about the same, if not more murals than my dear friend Pro Black. We're very competitive with each other. So on many projects we've collaborated together, and we have definitely done the most that we can to represent for people that are underrepresented in this city. And most importantly, I think that what people tend to forget about this project, it is primarily about Americans, not just immigrants, because I think a lot of people forget that so many of us that are being called immigrants, like myself, are indigenous to this land. So much of Mexico used to be America. And when you draw a line and you draw borders and you say to somebody, all of a sudden you're illegal, but your ancestors were from this land. and originated from this land. You're Mexica. You actually don't speak Spanish, you speak Nahua. So to think about this project, it talks about the strength and the resilience of people that have come to this country and have survived by using these coolers, these little neveras, and are selling fruit, selling water, selling, food, whatever they can out of these coolers to sustain themselves, was the initial concept. And it became a much larger concept. It is a humanitarian crisis, in my opinion. It's not just for one person, it's for many people. And I'm honored to share it with Boston.
Thank you so much, Vic. Next slide, please. The next project we'll be hosting is a large-scale statue called Solomon Northup, Hope Out of Darkness. It celebrates the life and contributions of Solomon Northup, who wrote the book 12 Years a Slave, based on the story of his own life. The sculpture has traveled throughout the US in 2025, including stops in New York and Virginia, and is on its way to be permanently installed in Marksville, Louisiana. This project was brought to us, curated and facilitated by the Native American Indian Center of Boston. They were the ones who approached us, and we have been in partnership with them for the past few years, bringing projects to the Greenway. And so we were excited when they reached out with this opportunity to talk about kind of these undertold stories and histories of folks who have come through Boston, but also more largely across our nation at this time. Next slide, please. This is a rendering of the work. Thank you. These are images of the work. It will go on the Wharf District directly across from Faneuil Hall. So be in conversation with some other statues and sculptures there at this moment. It will be on view from October 20th through December 5th, right next to the Greenway Carousel. And I will pass it over to Jean-Luc for some additional context about this project. Thank you so much.
Hello too. Thank you, Audrey, for the invitation to talk about this piece tonight. I also wanted to just briefly talk about like how important for me it is to have Victor's piece in conversation with Jeffrey Gibson's mural, who is Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians, on Dewey Square Plaza. So I just wanted to just briefly say that is important for Mexican and Gulf South indigenous peoples to have that type of connection. The statue itself, Hope Out of Darkness, is currently on a national tour. It started outside, excuse me, outside of New Orleans at the Whitney Plantation. Went to Central Louisiana. Is currently at Saratoga Springs, where Solomon Northup's family was based. The purpose for a Boston stop on this national tour is that after he self-liberated himself after 12 years of enslavement within Central Louisiana, he actually came to Boston and Massachusetts 170 years ago this year to lecture on abolition. And so we feel that this piece, going from mid-October to December, is going to be a very important piece that fosters conversations around the legacy of Black and Indigenous enslavement, the important work around abolition, and of course, the ongoing conversation around reparations. So many different things we hope to kind of foster with this installation. Also, it's proximate to the site of Bethel on Commercial Street in North End, where Solomon was giving lectures, and the site of William Lord Garrison's The Liberator, which would be approximately around Government Center. So many different geographical relevance to the story, and we're just really happy to be working with the Rose Kennedy Greenway on this temporary installation.
Thank you so much, Jean-Luc. And I believe that is the last slide for me.
Thanks so much, Audrey and Victor and Makiba and Jean-Luc for sharing that. I opened it up to any commissioners who might have questions or comments about any of these works?
John,
It's
I'd
been a
like to
long
make
meeting,
a
so
comment just really quickly.
sure.
I just want to speak to Victor's piece. I was in New York City and had the pleasure of experiencing the artwork there at the Shed. And I'm just so excited that our city gets to host it here. And I think the messaging of it in these times is so important to our communities. So I just deeply, deeply empathize, Victor, with your comments and with what I hope this installation will bring awareness around, I think, the fear a lot of people in our community feel right now with the state of the world and this administration. So I'm just so excited and proud that our city gets to host this here and can't wait to visit it on the Greenway.
Any other commissioners? I now open it up to members of the public, and Sylvia, if I could, just to add it into the record, the last sentence of your comment, I think is really beautiful. At this critical moment in our country, Elevar la Cultura would offer immigrant communities in Boston the ability to feel seen and heard while also serving as a powerful catalyst for education, dialogue, and reflection. Thank you for sharing that and for the beautiful reflection you posted in the comments. And Pamela is saying, thank you for such important and powerful work. I think we're all excited to see all of these projects realized on the Greenway. So with that, thank you so much, Audrey, for presenting and for all of the projects that we reviewed. Some we voted on, some we just reviewed, but there's so much dynamic work happening here in Boston and the city. And as Abigail did before, a huge thank you to the MOOC team for stewarding so much of this, all of these projects and all of these connections within and among our community. So with that, our last order of business is adjournment. Would any commissioner like to make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I would like to make a motion. Was that too quick?
No, that's fair.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks so much, James. Do I have a second?
I would second that motion.
Thanks, Abigail. Please say yes if you agree to adjourn. James?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Abigail?
Yes.
Diana?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Thank you all so, so much. And thank you, commissioners, for staying longer and for speakers for having the patience as we went through all of these important works. Thank you so much and see you all next time.